Hello, everyone. This is Robert Landau with the 5-Minute Life Changer podcast. Welcome to the first episode of this podcast series. So why 5 minutes? Well, I believe that we are so busy in today's modern world that we barely have 5 minutes to get motivated, to get inspired, to feel like we want to make the necessary changes that we need to make in our lives. So each episode is going to be 5 minutes in length or less, except for this episode because it's just a little bit more of an introduction. But future topics in this series will be how to let go, how to get through anything, how to control your mind and not let it control you, how to be your own best friend. Each episode, 5 minutes. I will present helpful, effective, and easy-to-use tools for you to incorporate change into your life based on the topic of the specific podcast episode. So before we get to the topic of this podcast episode, I'm going to say that this may be a little longer than 5 minutes, just this episode, for the sole reason that I would like to introduce myself to you so we are no longer strangers and faster friends. So I'm going to just take a little bit of time to do that, and then we'll get to our topic for this episode, which is how to be stress-free. So first off, hello. My name is Robert Landau. I'm originally from New York City, was an actor there for many years, but started to get disgruntled with the acting industry and was looking for a bit of a change because I had all these wonderful things that I was taught as an actor that I still wanted to put into use, but I wasn't too happy about the acting industry. So one thing led to another, and I'll get into this at another time in this series. I found myself on a cruise ship, not as a passenger, but as a member of the cruise staff. Not the cruise director, not the assistant cruise director, but actually as something called a socializer. And if you don't know what a socializer does on a cruise ship, well, you're not alone. I didn't either. It turns out that the socializer on that particular cruise ship out of Fort Lauderdale had to get off the ship because he could no longer evade doing jury duty. So I was thrown into his position without even knowing what it was for only 3 weeks until he could get back to the ship. Once I got on board, I found out what I had to do as a socializer. And this is what it was. I had to dance with every single lady on board that ship between the hours of 6 p.m. and 2 a.m. with a 30-minute break for dinner in any lounge that had live music. You know what kind of dance I was required to do that I didn't know how to do? Ballroom, the cha-cha, the tango, the merengue, all the stuff you see on Dancing with the Stars, I was supposed to do with, and I kid you not, over 300 single ladies on that first cruise. 300 single ladies, all seeming to be over the age of 117. I was in my 20s. It was a nightmare because I did not know how to ballroom dance. Well, one thing led to another. I learned how. 3 weeks became a season. They put the other socializer on another of their ships so I could stay on this one. And next season, I was asked back as an assistant cruise director. Did that with that cruise line for over 3.5 years. And then I thought, you know what? How cool would it be to be a cruise director? I could travel the world and see this incredible planet that we are so blessed to live on. And that's exactly what I did. I became an international cruise director, 300 ports of call on close to 400 cruises in just under 10 years. Now, I am a national motivational speaker and a certified life coach that works with people all over the world via Zoom. So, what I'm going to be doing in this series, as I said, is just sharing some of the insights I've gathered and learned over the years that have really, really worked for me, and I hope they will work for you. So let's get to the topic at hand before we close this episode, and that topic is how to be stress-free. So I want to ask you a question. Who creates the stress you often go through? Who's creating your stress? You may be feeling stressed now. Certainly we've all felt stressed in the past. Who creates your stress? Think about the answer carefully. And if you said, well, Robert, I create my own stress. You know what? That's very true. It doesn't always seem like it. We don't always want to admit it, but we create the stress we go through. Now, here's the thing. You can never control what happens to you on the outside of yourself. That's where stress happens. Stress is the reaction you choose to make based on what you are experiencing around you. So, that's how you create your own stress. It's a reaction to what's happening around you. So, if you got yourself into this energy of stress based on a certain situation that occurred with someone or something, you can also manage to get yourself out of it. First off, ask yourself, do I want to move forward with this? Or do I want to continue to carry the stress that I'm feeling? Of course, I hope the answer would be no. Let me also preface this by saying that if the stress is very serious, it turns into a medical condition, it's a deeply psychological condition, then I always encourage people to get the help they need from a doctor or a psychologist or psychiatrist. But other than that, if it's not serious, you can rise above the stress you find yourself in. Here's one of the easiest ways. You choose to do it. Don't just say it. Don't just think it. Do it. And you can do it in a number of ways. One of the most effective ways is giving your brain something else to fixate on. So, get up off the sofa, out of your stressful energy, and do something positive. Go out to dinner with a friend. Listen to your favorite song. Play with your pet. All of these things, right? Things that bring a smile to your face, things, if possible, that make you laugh. That will start to shift the energy. Managing stress is a gradual, step-by-step process. You always have to make sure that you're moving forward. In this case, it is not the destination that's important. It's how you choose to manage the journey. So ask yourself in closing, can I rise above the stress I feel? Might I be more than the stress that I'm choosing to carry around with me? Because feeling stress is a choice. Yes, terrible things happen to us and we react to them. We're only human. But how long we choose to carry around those things is up to us. Another helpful technique is shifting your concentration to your natural breathing process. Just focus on your natural inhales and exhales. That's the present moment. That's not the stress of the past or the fear of more stress in the future. Your natural breathing process has the energy of the present moment in it, and anytime you choose to focus on your breathing process, it will always bring you back to the here and now. No stress here. So that's just some of the ways, but in the process, be your own best friend. Don't treat yourself poorly in managing your stress, and I guarantee you, the smallest continuous steps you make in managing your stress and rising above it, it will start to subside and become a thing of the past. So, in closing, choose to manage your stress, and remember, you are so much more than the stress you are carrying. Just smile, laugh. That'll shift the energy right away. Use these tools that I've mentioned as often as you can, because that will give you the motivation you need to change your life for the better. I look forward to seeing you on future episodes of this podcast. Thank you for tuning in today. If you see a subscribe button on the mode that you are hearing me on, please press it so you will get all future episodes. Thanks so much for joining me. This has been Robert Landau with the 5-Minute Life Changer Podcast.